Neon, noise, and not much common sense. Can you survive this 80s trivia? Welcome, humans. It's Melvin, back to judge your earthly intellect. This time in the land of MTV, malls, mixtapes, and mullets. Get ready for trivia about global dramas, pop culture explosions, weird fads, technological leaps, and the moment you all decided shoulder pads belonged on everyone, even children. Let's find out if your synapses are firing, or if they're stuck like a Nintendo cartridge that needs to be blown on. Don't act like you didn't do it. Let's go! Level 1. Let's begin gently. I don't want your fragile brains overheating yet. Who was the artist behind the hit 1984 movie and album Purple Rain? Prince. Which Swiss watch company launched colourful, plastic, affordable watches that became a huge fad in the 80s? Swatch. Which 1980s heavy metal band was fronted by Dee Snider and sang "We're Not Gonna Take It"? Twisted Sister. What 1980s TV show featured three men raising a bunch of kids together and living in a San Francisco house? Full House. What brightly colored rubber ball toy with soft rubber filaments was invented in 1986? Koosh Ball. Which talk show host launched her nationally syndicated show in 1986? Oprah Winfrey. Which artificial intelligence character, known for his stutter, was a TV and marketing phenomenon in the mid-80s? Max Headroom. What 1987 film includes the quote, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die"? The Princess Bride. What 1980s fashion trend involved wearing jeans that had been treated to strip the color? Acid wash jeans. What phrase did Arnold Schwarzenegger famously deliver in the 1984 film The Terminator? I'll be back. Which Hollywood icon and Princess of Monaco died in a car crash in 1982? Grace Kelly. Who sang the 1986 hit "Walk Like an Egyptian"? The Bangles. Who played the character of Pee Wee Herman in the show Pee Wee's Playhouse? Paul Rubens. What 1988 film features a ghost who can be summoned by saying his name 3 times? Beetlejuice. Correct. I'm starting to suspect you're getting help from Kit. Which 1980s sitcom featured the Huxtable family living in Brooklyn? The Cosby Show. What 1986 charity event involved millions of people holding hands across the United States? Hands Across America. Who starred as the karate student Daniel LaRusso in the 1984 movie The Karate Kid? Ralph Macchio. What animated R&B group made of clay sang "I Heard It Through the Grapevine" in popular commercials? The California Raisins. What video game character debuted in 1981 as Jumpman in the arcade game Donkey Kong? Mario. Which First Lady spearheaded the Just Say No anti-drug campaign? Nancy Reagan. What talking bear toy utilized a cassette tape in its back to tell stories? Teddy Ruxpin. Which 1980s TV action hero was known for solving problems using duct tape, a Swiss Army knife, and everyday objects? MacGyver. What 1985 adventure film features a group of kids searching for the pirate treasure of One-Eyed Willie? The Goonies. Who hosted the PBS show The Joy of Painting with his signature afro and Happy Little Trees? Bob Ross. What famous comet was visible from Earth with the naked eye in 1986? Halley's Comet. Level 2. Harder than solving a Rubik's Cube without peeling the stickers. Who sang the 1986 chart topper Livin' on a Prayer? Bon Jovi. Which city hosted the 1984 Winter Olympics? Sarajevo, Yugoslavia. Which reporter opened Al Capone's vault on live TV in 1986, only to find it empty? Geraldo Rivera. What was the name of the Marine Lieutenant Colonel who testified before Congress regarding the Iran-Contra affair? Oliver North. What computer game franchise, launching in 1985, taught geography by asking where in the world the main character was? Carmen Sandiego. Who shot J.R. Ewing in the cliffhanger episode of Dallas that captivated the world in 1980? Kristen Shepherd, played by Mary Crosby. Name the 1983 film about a steel mill worker who wants to be a ballerina. Flashdance. What Nintendo accessory allowed players to shoot ducks on their TV screen? The NES Zapper, light gun. Who sang the 1987 hit Never Gonna Give You Up, which later inspired an internet meme? Rick Astley. Which audio format, offering superior sound quality to cassettes, was released commercially in 1982? The compact disc, CD. What Paul Simon album, released in 1986, featured South African musicians and the hit You Can Call Me Al? Graceland. Wrong! That answer was more confusing than the plot of Tron on Fast Forward. What a cappella singer had a #1 hit in 1988 with Don't Worry, Be Happy? Bobby McFerrin. What 1989 film starred Kevin Costner as a farmer who builds a baseball field in his cornfield? Field of Dreams. Who beat Marvin Hagler in a controversial 1987 boxing super fight? Sugar Ray Leonard. What 1980 sequel revealed the shocking twist that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father? The Empire Strikes Back. Which series of trading cards parodied the Cabbage Patch Kids with gross-out humor? Garbage Pail Kids. What 1980s rock band released the massive hit album Appetite for Destruction in 1987? Guns N' Roses. What yellow diamond-shaped sign became a car accessory craze in the mid-80s? Baby on Board. Who is the rap trio famous for the songs Walk This Way and It's Tricky? Run DMC. Which Jim Henson TV show featured Fraggles, Doozers, and Gorgs? Fraggle Rock. Who played the lead role of Axel Foley in the 1984 film Beverly Hills Cop? Eddie Murphy. What 1986 coming-of-age film was based on the Stephen King novella The Body? Stand By Me. Which American gymnast won the individual all-around gold medal at the 1984 Summer Olympics? Mary Lou Retton. Which 1983 film starring Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger won the Oscar for Best Picture? Terms of Endearment. What group of young actors, including Emilio Estevez and Judd Nelson, were collectively nicknamed by the press? The Brat Pack. Level 3. No mercy. Think fast or suffer gloriously. What novelty song by Buckner and Garcia about a video game reached the top 10 in 1982? Pac-Man Fever. Which fiery American tennis player was famous for outbursts on the court? John McEnroe. Which Egyptian president was assassinated during a military parade in 1981? Anwar Sadat. Which folk rock singer won the Best New Artist Grammy in 1989 for her hit Fast car. Tracy Chapman. Who was the Nazi war criminal, known as the Butcher of Lyon, brought to trial in France in 1987? Klaus Barbie. What Las Vegas hotel suffered a devastating fire in 1980 that killed 85 people? The MGM Grand. What British charity supergroup recorded Do They Know It's Christmas in 1984? Band-Aid. Which Canadian athlete ran the Marathon of Hope in 1980 on an artificial leg to raise money for cancer research? Terry Fox. Which US presidential candidate's campaign collapsed in 1987 due to a scandal involving a boat called Monkey Business? Gary Hart. What 1984 industrial disaster in India exposed over 500,000 people to methyl isocyanate gas? The Bhopal gas tragedy. What Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, based on poems by T.S. Eliot, premiered in London in 1981 and New York in 1982? Cats. What 1985 disaster at a soccer stadium in Brussels resulted in 39 deaths and a ban on English clubs in Europe? The Heysel Stadium disaster. What software company held its initial public offering, IPO, in 1986, creating 4 billionaires and 12,000 millionaires? Microsoft. What environmental threat in the atmosphere was discovered by scientists in 1985 over Antarctica? The ozone hole. Wrong! That answer was glitchier than a poorly tracked VHS tape. Who were the two scientists credited with the co-discovery of the HIV virus in 1983/1984? Luc Montagnier and Robert Gallo. Which African country gained independence from Great Britain in 1980, with Robert Mugabe as Prime Minister? Zimbabwe. What was the pseudonym of the infant at the center of a famous 1986 custody case involving a surrogate mother? Baby M. Which TV show's series finale, aired in 1983, remains the most watched scripted television broadcast in US history? MASH. Which NASA space probe flew past Uranus in 1986 and Neptune in 1989? Voyager 2. Which 1984 film about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart won 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture? Amadeus. What 8-bit video game console was released in North America in 1986 to compete with the NES. The Sega Master System. What agreement was signed in 1984 regarding the future transfer of Hong Kong from the UK to China? The Sino-British Joint Declaration. Which South African Anglican bishop won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984? Desmond Tutu. Who attempted to assassinate Pope John Paul II in St. Peter's Square in 1981? Mehmet Ali Agca. What country did the United States bomb in 1986 in Operation El Dorado Canyon? Libya. Your brain has successfully survived this 1980s trivia gauntlet. A decade louder than your hairstyles and more dramatic than your primetime soap operas. If you scored well, congratulations. If you didn't, just blame the synthwave overload on your fragile human brain. Either way, see you next time. And remember, please be kind and rewind. Melvin, out! Need a break to reboot your tiny processor? Or are you brave enough to click into the next trivia trap? Go on, I dare you.